Hello, and welcome to today's story. My name is Oscar, and I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm going to tell you a peaceful story about a special garden, where the plants can talk and share their wisdom. While you listen, try to relax and enjoy the journey. And don't worry about understanding every single word. You'll have time to learn new vocabulary and reflect on the story afterward. Now, let's begin our adventure in the Whispering Garden. Once upon a time, in a quiet village, there was a young girl named Leela. She loved the sound of the wind and the feel of the soft earth beneath her feet. Leela spent her days exploring the fields and forests near her home, searching for new and magical places to discover. One evening, as the sun began to set, Leela noticed something she had never seen before. A small, hidden pathway at the edge of the forest. The pathway was lined with thick green vines, and it seemed to glow in the fading light. Curious, Leela decided to follow the path, wondering where it would lead. As she walked deeper into the forest, the sounds of the village faded away. The air grew cooler, and the trees around her whispered gently in the wind. Soon, the path opened into a large, beautiful garden. Flowers of every color bloomed all around her, and tall trees with silver leaves stood proudly in the center. Leela felt a sense of peace wash over her. She sat down on a soft patch of grass and closed her eyes, listening to the gentle rustling of the leaves. And then, something magical happened. Suddenly, Leela heard a soft voice, as quiet as a whisper. She opened her eyes, but there was no one around. Then she realized. The voice was coming from the plants themselves. A tall sunflower bent its head toward her and spoke, in a kind, gentle voice. "Welcome, Leela. We've been waiting for you." Leela gasped. She had never heard a flower speak before. "How do you know my name?" she asked. The sunflower smiled in the way that only flowers can. "We know everyone who visits the garden. This is no ordinary place. Here, the plants can speak, and we share our wisdom with those who listen carefully." Leela felt her heart fill with wonder. She stood up and walked slowly through the garden, listening as each plant shared its thoughts. A small bluebell chimed softly. Life is like the wind, always moving and changing. Don't be afraid of the unknown. A large oak tree whispered in a deep, calming voice. Patience is the greatest strength. Just as I have grown over many years, you too will grow, slowly but surely. Leela smiled and took in their words. The garden felt like a place of peace, a place where she could learn things not from books, but from nature itself. As Leela wandered further into the garden, she noticed a row of roses, their petals shining in the soft moonlight. She walked closer to them, and a delicate pink rose spoke, her voice soft but wise. "Not everything is as it seems, Leela," the rose said. "We roses are beautiful, but we also have thorns. Just like in life, sometimes beauty comes with challenges, but remember, the thorns are there to protect us, not to harm others." Leela thought about the rose's words. She had never considered how even the most beautiful things in life could come with difficulties. It made her realize that even when she faced challenges, they could help her grow stronger, just like the rose's thorns. As the night grew darker, Leela knew it was time to leave the garden, but she felt a deep connection to the magical place and the wisdom it had shared with her. Before she could say goodbye, the sunflower leaned down once again. "We have one last gift for you, Leela," the sunflower said. "Whenever you feel lost or unsure, close your eyes and remember the Whispering Garden. The lessons you learned here will always be with you." even when you are far away. Leela nodded, feeling a warmth in her heart. She said goodbye to the flowers, the trees, and the gentle breeze that carried their voices. She knew that she would never forget this magical place, and that its wisdom would guide her throughout her life. As she walked back down the secret pathway and out of the forest, Leela felt lighter, calmer, and more at peace with the world around her. She smiled to herself, knowing that the whispering garden would always be there, just waiting for her to listen. Pathway. A pathway is a small road or trail that you can walk on. In the story, Leela followed a hidden pathway into the garden. Can you think of a time when you discovered a new pathway or road? Whisper. To whisper means to speak very softly. In the story, the plants whispered their wisdom to Leela. When do you usually whisper? Maybe when you don't want to wake someone up, or when you're telling a secret. Curious. Curious means wanting to learn or know more. Leela was curious about where the secret pathway would lead. Are you curious about something right now? Maybe a new book or an interesting question. Thank you for listening to today's story. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Don't forget, the Whispering Garden is always there for you, just as the lessons in this story are. Be sure to come back next time for another relaxing story. And until then, keep practicing your English and discovering new words and ideas. Goodbye, and see you soon.